Hi there, welcome to another episode of Travel Tuesday. Elizabeth Carey here with Charlie Frashana, sitting in for Brian Murray.
I have some big shoes to fill, don't I? Brian is out traveling the world once again, so I am happy to sit in for him today.
Yeah, well, I was just in Orlando. He's in Orlando. Everybody has been going there, it seems like, at Florida and beyond this year.
Except for me.
You got to get that trip booked.
I know. I'm working on it. Got some fun ones to talk about today, though.
Yeah, we sure do. We're super excited that spring is finally here, but people really need to book those summer vacations and beyond right now.
Yeah, it's almost like fake spring. You know, we have that all through probably April. Definitely a continued reminder that you got to book that travel and get warm.
Yeah, even just a few days away, it really is good for the soul.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, of course, AAA is on standby to help you with all those travel bookings. People really get inspired when they see people, especially they share pictures on social media. They're like, I want to go there too. Oh, wow, I didn't know this was even in like my realm of possibilities. And that's how people get this travel bug.
It is our duty as AAA to share that type of inspiration on social media. We've got a lot of it, and we're going to talk about some of that today.
Yeah, so you have a really cool segment coming up. You're going to talk to Chef Darian Bryan about his trip to Turks and Caicos, which looked amazing.
Amazing. Yes. Chef Darian is one of my new favorite people, and we have him here to talk about a really epic trip.
Yeah, what a cool guy. His wife, oh my gosh, the outfits they wore, the adorable kids. I couldn't get enough of it.
Family fashion, I mean, they are something, that's for sure.
Turks and Caicos on my bucket list, like a lot of others too.
Definitely. So it's going to be a great segment with Chef Darian. Super excited.
Yeah, and then I'm going to get to talk to AAA travel advisor Ashley Ratinsky about the value of using a travel advisor. A lot of lessons have been learned, and a lot of people are turning back to the good old-fashioned travel advisor for their expertise and savings.
Yeah, and that's really what we're here to share. Lots to come.
Yeah, so much coming up, but first we want to share our hot trips. Looking to set sail with Holland America's anniversary sale? Book now and save up to 45%, plus up to $300 onboard credit for stateroom, free and reduced fares for third and fourth guests, all valid through April 30th. Looking to travel by land? Check out Aloha Days with Pleasant Holidays, $175 off per booking on Hawaiian vacations at participating resorts. This offer is good through April 30th. And Member Choice Vacations is having their Hello Spring worldwide sale with a savings of up to 20% off. Book through April 15th.
Hello and welcome. We are here with Chef Darian Bryan. Super excited to have you on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. If you're not familiar with who Chef Darian is, he has two excellent places in the Larkinville district that he is owner and head chef for. We've got Bratz Hill and the Plating Society. Yep. They're both doing well.
Both doing well, man.
Tell us about both of the places and what kind of got you to cooking for us here in Buffalo.
So I came here 12 years ago from Jamaica. People ask me, why Buffalo? What were you thinking? I just want to see some snow, man. After the first 2 years, I'm like, you can take this snow thing. But it's crazy here, but I love it. The love and support these folks show me here is unmatched. So the Plating Society opened like 3 years ago. It's like a chef's table. So you come in and I'll cook and entertain in front of you, you know. Bratz Hill is more like a reservation. You go in. It's a fast casual in the daytime. You can just go and get a takeout. And at night, we got like upscale fine dining Jamaican.
Fine dining Jamaican, right.
Awesome, you know.
Yeah. Now, there's not a ton of Jamaican, and certainly not fine dining Jamaican here in Buffalo. So you've got a nice little niche that you're working on.
Yeah, people are excited because I've never seen Jamaican food like, you know, upscale vibe before. So that's what, with me being a fine dining chef, it makes sense for me to do something fine dining Jamaican food, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, I can
report up that one.
I can personally attest to having had a bite or two in both places, and they are outstanding. So I definitely recommend people give them a try. Take a look at Chef Darian on social media at Chef Darian Bryan. Mostly on Instagram is where I see you, but make sure you give Chef Darian a follow. And we're here to talk a little bit about, you know, more than just food, although food definitely is woven into, I think, everything that you do.
Food and travels, that's my thing, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Food and travel, not a bad gig.
Not a bad gig at all, you know?
So you and your beautiful family, about 3-4 weeks ago, just got back from a trip to Turks and Caicos.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
I saw from afar.
No.
So tell us about your trip.
My trip was great. Like the moment we arrived to Turks and Caicos, like we feel like rock stars. You know, everybody greeted us. They knew where we were at the time. And the food, let's talk about the food. The food was amazing. With me being a chef, and have a very high standard.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
The French restaurant, we have dinner the first night, and I'm like, I couldn't believe the quality of the steak. Everything was cooked perfectly.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, I was blown away.
And
The service.
right on the property, you're eating that kind of food.
Yeah, I think we leave the property once
Yeah.
to go to this club, Aziza, which was awesome, by the way. But the food was amazing on property. We didn't have to leave to get food anywhere else.
Right, right. So you stayed at Beaches?
Beaches, Turks, and Caicos.
Beaches, Turks, and Caicos. It has a nice ring to it. Was that your first time at a Beaches?
First time at Beaches. I don't think I would do anything else. Beaches is just like the service, the food, like the people. They're just so welcoming there.
Yeah, yeah. So this was also the first time that you booked travel through AAA Travel.
First time.
First time. So we're
I
so
don't
happy.
think I'll ever go back to anything else because it's so easy.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have to do anything. Just show up and just enjoy. Everything was booked.
Right.
Pick up at the airport, like excursions, everything was just taken care of. The wife and I can just focus on what we do best, and just work.
Right.
And the professionals take care of it.
So it started from the very beginning at the planning stage, right? I think we even helped you decide on Turks and Caicos.
Yep. We didn't know where we wanted to go. The kids love water park, they love Sesame Street breakfast and stuff like that. So
Right.
they were looking forward to that for a long time. They're watching videos every day, like, I can't wait to go there to meet Elmo.
Yeah.
My daughter love Cookie Monster because she want to be a chef too, right? Cookie Monster's a chef. Daddy's a chef. So they were looking forward to you for a long time.
Yeah.
And you guys really made it happen for us.
So we've got a team of travel advisors that worked with you kind of before and got your whole itinerary set. You had a great time while you were there, but you knew you had us at the ready should you need anything. I don't think anything went wrong, so,
No.
I
know I can call, you guys just a phone call away, whatever I
Right,
need. So
right.
it was just so easy. Like the family and I enjoy every second of it because we didn't have to stress about what we're going to do today. Everything was planned for us. We just have to enjoy it to the fullest, no less.
Right, right. And then now that you're back, we certainly work to make sure that you had a great time, and then we start talking about the next one, hopefully.
Yes, next one.
Right. But let's not forget about it too quickly. So you got to do some really great stuff there. Let's start with the kids. So the kids had the time of their life.
Oh, man.
Right? What was their favorite stuff? You mentioned the Sesame Street thing, and what were some of the highlights for the kids, first and foremost?
Water park. My daughter was in that thing every day. It's like, as soon as she wake up, she want to go to the pool, get us to the swim bar for the kids. She just sit there and just drink whatever she want to drink.
Yeah.
No alcohol, of course, right?
No, I wouldn't think
Yeah,
so. Right?
yeah.
Not, yes, but...
But they should just drink juice all day and just like the water park, Sesame Street breakfast, and the club, like the club they go to every day, the children clubs, right? Mm-hmm. There was so much activity for them. They just want to go there every day to meet new people every day. So it's a
Right.
fun time.
So you were able to send them to the children's club.
Yep.
And then you and Jessica were able to have
The relaxation.
relaxation, cuddle
cocktails
adult
on the
time.
beach. Yeah.
Right? Cocktails on the beach, right? So I think also, if we're thinking about on the beach, you had a nice cooking experience overlooking that beautiful blue ocean.
I wish I could do it every day. It's just like the vibe, the feeling, like all the people watching. I feel like I was on like Food Network or something.
Yeah.
That thing,
Right.
Everybody coming up like, what's going on over here? Is your samples for us? I'm like, not really.
Well, Food Network is not a stranger to you. You have, I think,
I got a few stuff.
got a couple of those under your belt.
Yeah.
So that was one of the nice things for
I got a
Chef
few
Derry.
coming up too.
Oh, couple,
Yeah.
little top here on Travel Tuesday. I like that. Well, because you're a chef, our team was able to get you that little bit of an extra experience. So you were able to not just observe a culinary demonstration on the beach. You actually got to go behind the stove and do a little bit of work
Yeah,
of your own.
some a sushi class too with
Oh,
the sushi chefs. So I was back there making sushi. It was so much fun.
So when I think Jamaican food, I don't think sushi. So how's your style? How's your
what?
technique?
I did pretty good, they say.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm a fast learner, right? You just have to show me 2 times,
Right.
and I'll just do what you say,
Sure.
And it was a great time. I was rolling sushi, and I ended up eating them too. So that was the best part of it.
Nice. Excellent. Yeah, so I'm just thinking you had a couple of, you said you only left the resort once, and that was to go to Aziza, the private lounge.
Yep.
Yeah, talk about that a little bit.
Which is like, we're in a VIP private lounge, right? So we get like bottle service and amazing food, amazing music. This guy was here playing a drum. It was just so magical. I'm like, yo, this is awesome. All these people looking at us wondering like, who are these people? Why are they in the VIP spot? The people were just staring at us all night. I'm like, we're just enjoying ourselves to the fullest.
Nice, very nice. Well, you know, that's the cool thing about working with AAA.
Yeah.
And our travel team can give you the white glove service so that when you're down there, you can have that same white glove service. Would you say from beginning to end, the resort, the transfers, the offsite, the excursion, everything really was
Everything was just seamless.
meticulously
Like,
paid for, pay attention to,
tight
right?
pass when we got to the airport, and everybody just like, you know, just in this big long line. Everybody, someone just come get us and just weave us through, put us in the front. People look like, who are these people? Why are they getting all these treatment? But you guys made that happen for us.
That's what we
a big
do,
bonus for us,
and
too,
that's
because-
really what we're trying to help everybody understand is that you know, you can work with a travel advisor and have so much of the planning, so much of the stress, the hassle, just taken care of for you, and there's no cost to work with us.
Especially
probably
when
the
you're
nicest
so
part, right?
so busy.
Right.
You don't have time to plan these trips. Like my wife and I would just focus on the restaurant, you know, on the kids, while you guys do all the work on the back end,
Right,
which is
right.
amazing.
Yeah.
It doesn't cost anything, just being a member. That's what it is.
Right. One of those just great member benefits is working with our travel advisors, for sure.
People have been asking a lot of questions about it too, like, oh, does this work? Because there's so much people who see it and asking about it. So I'm like,
Yeah, and actually on our segment today, we have one of our travel advisors, Ashley, talking about the benefits of working with a travel advisor. And really, we're trying to help everybody understand that there's so much to gain, so much value. The benefit of working with an expert in this space just saves you time, hassle, potentially money, you know, with all those AAA member benefits. So it's great to hear it from your perspective. We're coming up on a little bit of time, but let's just ask a couple of last questions. So we talked about the culinary experience down there. Any inspiration that you're bringing back home?
I would say the conch. So I mean, like this conch salad on the beach, right? They do theirs way different from mine, but I like theirs a lot.
Okay.
So I'm like, I'm gonna bring this back with me.
All right.
So that was one of the main thing I grabbed, like the just like the way they do stuff. I bring it back here and see if I can do it somewhat similar.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Very
like
nice.
that.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So all in all, we didn't even get to talking about the style and the fashion
How
that
it
went. We'll just do a quick plug. The Bryan family is the best dressed family in town.
We do what we do, right?
Well, you know, as thoughtful as we are in planning the trip, I think you guys are as thoughtful in planning your outfit.
Yeah.
And
That's
it
the wife.
shows-
Though. The
yeah.
wife did all of that. She come up with all these outfits, and she said, "What do you think of this?" And I don't like this. I like that, and we just come to agreement and make it happen.
The pictures on social media again. Take a look at Chef Darian Bryan. Also go to AAA.com/Travel Tuesday. You'll be able to see more details from his trip and learn more about what's going on in the world of travel for us. Last question. Where to next? What do we need to prep our travel advisors for when you're thinking about the next trip? Maybe just the adults or the Bryan family?
Where to next? My wife want to go to France. You've been talking about France a lot. So I'm just thinking, I'm like, I
Right.
want to go to Paris.
Paris, city
Yeah.
of love, right? I think.
We plus,
might not be
we
bad.
meet their chef too. Like, that's where, the French cuisine and all the fine dining really originated. So that's where it all started. So I'm like, I might want to go see that.
I think we know a few people that can talk to you about Paris and
Okay.
all of Europe. So
Yeah.
we'll get on that.
Okay.
Chef Darian,
of that. Appreciate
thank you so much.
Thanks
for
for having
coming on,
me,
my
man.
friend. All right. AAA.com/Travel Tuesday. Take a look. More details. Lots of fun stuff over here.
Welcome back. Elizabeth Carey here with AAA Travel Advisor Ashley Ratinsky. So excited to talk about travel with you. And what do you think is really popular right now as far as these big destinations?
So really, Elizabeth, we're looking at like Africa, the exotics. So Europe is still always, trending. But I think with the Paris Olympics coming up this year, people are kind of staying away from that area unless that they're traveling to go see the Olympics. But we've been seeing a lot of exotics. Africa, doing expeditions like the Galapagos, going to Australia. So those are big highlights this year.
Wow, people are going big.
They are, yeah.
Yeah, talk about bucket list destinations. So how long have you been a travel advisor?
I've been a travel advisor for 7 years.
Okay, 7 years. And what inspired you to get into travel?
Just the name, travel. I love traveling, adventure. I love seeing new places, culture. So anywhere that I can go, I would love to see.
So in that time, have you seen a lot of the trends change to these big trips, like you mentioned, exotic destinations?
Yeah, and I think a lot had to do too with, you know, the pandemic. So where people weren't able to go anywhere, and now they're like, all right, we didn't get to go. Money's not really an object. They don't care how much it costs. It's more generational too, and they want to spend time with their families. So we've been really seeing an uptick of just everywhere that people want to go, and it's been changing from, you know, your typical Caribbean or London and Paris, and going to, you know, Spain and Portugal, to Africa, to Antarctica.
So I think one of the things that we're seeing is people saying, you know what, YOLO, you only live once. We went through this pandemic. Now it's all about experiences and really making these memories.
Correct. Absolutely. I mean, for an example, I went to Bali for my honeymoon, and having that as an experience, I will never forget that.
So what was that like? I mean, you're literally traveling around the globe.
Yeah. So really long. So being prepared, I had to mentally prepare myself for that flight. But it was incredible, great service, and just landing in another country outside of, you know, the Caribbean that I was used to, and landing into Singapore, completely different culture, different experience. But being on a different side of the globe too is just, you don't realize as to what's out there until you get there.
A key word you mentioned was culture. A lot of people want to see these different cultures. They want to experience these cultures. So did you do anything on that trip that really allowed you to like indulge yourself in this whole experience?
We did. So a lot of Bali is made up of different like temples. They have over 1 million temples on the island there. So that is their culture. So every morning they would go to their temple. So every house has one. Every public area has one. The hotels even had one. So just being able to like see the culture of what they do when they wake up, and how they would start their days at like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning to go to the markets to start getting ready, sell their food, then bring it back home and start cooking. Completely different than here from our 9 to 5.
Really, really cool. I know cruising has been exploding recently. So many people want to go on these cruise ships, and there's everything from small river cruises to mega cruise lines coming out with these mega ships. And I'm hearing that a lot of people are saying we're going to splurge. We want to do a back balcony, but even beyond that, we want to do a suite. And it goes again with what you're saying about people really saying we're going to spend the money. We want to have this experience.
Absolutely. Like look at the Icon, for example. I mean, it's blasted everywhere on the news, and everyone wants to go on it. You see those pictures of the Icon next to other ships, and it's just unbelievable of how big it is. It's like a city, floating city on water.
Yeah, we actually talked about Royal Caribbean's Icon of the Seas on a different episode of Travel Tuesday, so you have to check that out right at AAA.com/Travel Tuesday. Well, when you mentioned that, yeah, it's almost like, how do these other ships compare when everyone's making the video showing the big, huge Icon and then the smaller ships next to it?
Right. If I was docked next to the Icon, I would want to go over to their ship instead.
But of course, you know, to each their own. Some people might like the smaller ship too, but that's where you come in, because you can talk to a traveler about what their needs are, what their expectations are, and customize a trip for them.
Absolutely. So from small ships all the way to large ships, everyone has their own taste of how they like to travel to, and also who they're traveling with. If it's just couples and it's their anniversary, or if they're traveling with their kids, with grandkids, we can customize it to fit how they would like to travel.
So I know we all learned a lot during the pandemic in many different ways, but one of the things that we saw here at AAA was people saying, hey, can you help me out? They went and booked some trip online. It wasn't even through AAA. It was just through some website where you literally can't talk to anyone on the phone. You can't reach anyone. And they were like, what should we do? This got canceled. Where do we go? And people started returning to the good old-fashioned travel advisor for that trusted service that they know they could get.
Absolutely. And especially during that point of time too, where people were traveling out of the country, when those countries were reopening, they didn't know what was needed. They didn't know what documents that they needed. They didn't know as to what if they needed vaccinations or if they had to get a COVID test. So we were there, we were researching it, following behind all of those countries and looking up to see, like, you're traveling at this time, you need to have, a COVID test. You have to have your vaccines. There are some cruise lines that you couldn't even travel on, like biking, unless you were vaccinated.
So that still happens today, where you know exactly what to expect on a certain trip and what's required, if you need a passport, different things like that. So you can actually guide your clients through the entire process of booking travel.
Absolutely. So it's not just about the booking process of just finding the destination and where they're staying. It's about also what's needed for them to go on that trip.
So for instance, we were talking about Brian being in Orlando. So Disney, very popular all the time. Was just looking up the square miles of Disney. It's almost as big as the city of Buffalo. So for people to think that they can tackle that on their own, that's a lot of time that people are wasting online trying to figure things out, guessing, getting there and finding out maybe it's not exactly what I pictured. Whereas you can be upfront and say, no, this is what to expect at this resort or this destination.
Absolutely. And I mean, to your point with Disney, Disney is a beast of its own. Like, it is like traveling internationally. There's so much that you need to know. And me being a diehard like Disney fan and going every single year, it's constantly changing too, of where I'm like, wow, I didn't know this, or there's something new that I'm seeing. So for someone to go off on their own and trying to figure out how to put this together, it's going to be probably really stressful, and you're going to get lost. Or if you book it on your own, when you get there, it's not going to be what you expected.
Right. It's too much. It's for one person to do. That's why they should come to the experts.
Absolutely.
So do you see that as well? People finding, like, I know this is a common misconception. I thought at the travel advisor, that's going to cost me extra money, but it doesn't cost you extra money. You can actually find more value for people.
Absolutely. So we work with our preferred partners who have those connections with the hotels. They're making sure too that where you're staying is nice. We don't want to send you off into like a small mom and pop location that is going to be so far away from the destination that you're actually going to. Nothing would be worse than going to Paris and then being way far out from the city, realizing that you need to commute into the city every single day to see what you want to see. But absolutely, to your point too, of coming in, it's just a lot easier of us finding those great prices in that. And especially if you're going during spring break or any of the peak times too, we can really shop around for you to look at those prices.
What about AAA member benefits? How do all of those work?
So being a AAA member gives you great value of booking with us. So you don't have to be a member to book travel, but you definitely get your extra perks. So our premier membership is definitely the one that you want to do, especially if you travel frequently. You're going to get up to $100 off per year on your membership booking travel with us. And then also you're going to get rewards after you come back from your trip to use on your next trip.
And many, we mentioned cruise lines, many of them offer an added benefit where it might be a little gift waiting for you in your room, or maybe a possible upgrade or something like that.
Absolutely. So if you book directly with those cruise lines, they're going to give you the rates that they have for the promotions. But we're also going to add in like chocolate covered strawberries, a bottle of wine. Like, who doesn't want to start their cruise going into their room and having a bottle of wine to open?
Those nice special touches add a lot.
Right. Absolutely.
It has kind of makes you feel like you are splurging and you're having like that trip of a lifetime.
Yes, or you feel like VIP and important.
You had mentioned about how families traveling together, so multi-generational travel. Are you seeing a lot of that where it's like grandma, grandpa, parents, and the kids?
Absolutely, and it's usually grandma and grandpa who is like splurging and paying for everyone. They want to enjoy the time that they have while they still can, especially going to different exotic destinations too. They're retired. They want to take their kids, their grandkids on vacation, and looking at villas, even so that all of them can be underneath one roof together.
Talk about memories. That's something you're never going to forget. You might not remember that gift you got for Christmas, but you're going to remember that trip with grandma and grandpa.
Yes, going through all the pictures and everything, the videos, especially with like social media that's out there that you can like save all of those pictures and that on.
Speaking of social media, if you're looking for travel inspiration, you have to check out AAA Western and Central New York social media pages, places like TikTok, Instagram. So many cool videos and ideas and tips as well for travelers.
Absolutely. I have the accounts of all of those and above, and I use that too to help me plan my own trips too. I want to know like secret like little cafes and that when I go on my vacations.
So speaking of that, do you have any big trips planned?
I do. So going back to Disney, that's where I'm going this year. So I'll be going to Disney and then going on the Disney Wish. I'm super excited that they announced that they have another ship that they're bringing out too. So that'll just be my bucket list for the next year.
So Disney Wish, of course, an incredible cruise ship that so many people are looking to go on. And that's another example. It's a lot different going to the Disney parks than going on the Disney cruise. And you can explain that to travelers if it's something they're thinking about.
Yeah, when we talk a Disney cruise, a lot of people draw back because they're like, oh, I don't want the parks. I don't want all of the rides and everything. But it's not just that. There's so much. If it wasn't for my son, I would go on a cruise without him, but I feel super guilty. But there's so much to do for everyone on those ships. Adults, they have adult-only sections that you can go off to. The kids can go to the kids clubs to give you a break. They have adult-only exclusive restaurants. There's really something for everyone. And going back to the generational trips, it's great. Grandma and grandpa can go over to the pool on their own. The kids can go on the water slides. The parents can go have a date night. So really something for everyone.
And that's available as well on land, like we just heard with Charlie and Chef Darian. They utilize the kids clubs too at Turks and Caicos.
Yeah, so beaches, any of those kind of properties too, a lot of them they cater to that. They know that when you take your kids on vacation, you want to spend time with them, but you also want to spend time together as a couple.
Okay, so much to be seen, so much fun to be had. I don't know, people are going to be like, where should we go next, right?
It's hard to pinpoint, but that's where we come into. So even if you don't have an idea, we can work with you to figure out your dream vacation and what's going to be best for you.
Well, Ashley, thanks so much for joining us for this episode of Travel Tuesday.
Thank you for having me.
So much inspiration. You can find more details right at AAA.com/Travel Tuesday, and we'll see you back here next month.